right, welcome to the show. My name is Jonathan Tripp, guys. This is almost kind of like a pre-show where we make everything happen. We get things going. Man, my mics look really high today. I don't know why. All right. Well, I'm really glad to have you here. Today, we actually have a very special guest, somebody who's been on the show before, but this was back in like the dark ages when we were, I think, in shows like 100 to maybe say like 150 or so. I don't remember exactly the dates, but she was on the show, and she's going to be on the show today. We're actually going to be talking about some things, but first, I want to say thank you guys for joining us, whether, I don't care what platform you're seeing this, or if you're watching us on the replay. Either way, I actually read the comments and reply, but if you would, please do me a favor and share it out. Share this out, whether you retweet it or put it into some other Facebook, spam somebody else's group. That's a great line to pull, huh? Isn't it? That'll be a great quote, I think, to pull. Hey, it is great to see everybody. Hey, William and Terry. I see Alma in the house. Melissa Reyes. Here is the mug shot. You guys, I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. There's the mug shot. It's my Mr. Mug. Thank you guys for joining us. All right, how about this? Why don't we all get going here this morning? I know we've got some things doing. So, guys, I'll see you there. All right, thank you guys so much. Today we're going to be getting right into, this is a abbreviated version of Talk Social News, where we bring you up to date, at least in a weekly fashion, of kind of some of the more important things that are happening in social. All right, this week, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to you about how, updating you on how YouTube was now adding some of the mobile live option to its app and things like this, but it was only for those that had like 1,000 subs or something like that. Before, it was a little crazy. Well, guess what? They dropped that limit. I know William Slays brought that to my attention earlier this week, and I think David Vaughn did a video yesterday about it or something like that. I think that's also in Live Talk Nation as the group, and I'm pretty sure it is. If not, I'm sure somebody's going to share that in there. But I actually think that's a really smart move for them, because what they're doing, they're getting their act together. They're figuring out that, hey, if we make it more accessible to our users, who are, for the most part, those that actually are doing something that's tangible and providing real content, whether it's like a business or a podcast, or maybe it's like a how-to video, we're giving the content users the ability to go live and connect in a more direct and in a more personal way, that probably we might actually start watching more YouTube videos. I know I'm ready to do that. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. Now, how about this, okay? Now, I couldn't actually help this, and I'm sorry, I'm switching over here because this is the first, okay? This is the first. I hope you guys get this, all right? How about this? How many of you guys actually saw that Instagram now has face filters? This is awesome. I spent a little bit of time doing this. I love it. I don't know if I'm going to be doing the koala bear that much, or the flowers, or what. But here's the thing, right? I love the fact that they are out there, that they are actually pushing the field. These are a little bit different. Oh, and by the way, all of these, no, hold on, it's this way. All of these, that was pre-haircut. So I did this earlier in the week when it came out. But I do like these filters. They're fun. I do think it's just the tip of the iceberg. And this really kind of gets into maybe some more of the really fun things that I think are going to be happening, with Instagram. While they say they're not competing with Snapchat, you know what? They're just bringing out the features that everybody else is. And as I think TechCrunch had an article, something about this, that says, well, this is just part of the tech world. Like stealing ideas. This is just how it all works. Well, I don't really know if I believe that necessarily, but I do think that it is just the way it is. Also, now talking about quickly live streaming sports, I saw that Facebook Live is now getting into the sports game. Are they going to be doing some maybe baseball or something like this? And we talked about this earlier in the week on the Twitter chat. Let's live stream, which by the way happens on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, the only time, where we talk about I think it's the only, or at least it's the first Twitter chat about live streaming. We did talk about sports and particularly about Twitter and live stream and things like this, that sports and news are the new 24/7 broadcast, always having content available style. So I don't know that it's really an innovative move as much as maybe for Facebook that they're keeping up with everybody else. So speaking of Facebook, kind of moving on, how many of you guys have seen that there's the ability now within Facebook, the Messenger app, and all those kinds of things, that you're getting a cross notification. Maybe you're being notified on Facebook that you have messages available, or, and this is the really important one because you guys know I love Instagram, that I'm going to start getting Instagram notifications in my Messenger. Like they're bringing all of these together so that we get notified everywhere we go. And I actually kind of think that's a really interesting thing, because in a world where they are competing more and more to have our attention and to keep our attention for ad revenue, what a better way than to just, instead of just keep us scrolling through Facebook, have us go from Instagram to Facebook to Messenger. Really innovative, huh? And the last one, and this one's a little bit more near and dear to my heart. I did not have a video queued up in time. I was looking for a really awful one. I couldn't find one. Facebook is updating their API policies and such to help prevent fake video. Okay, now what do I mean by fake live video? Okay, these are the instances that when you have a static image or a short looping video, say like a fireplace, right? Or something like that, maybe like it's a countdown. What they're trying to do is that they notice that there's a lot of complaints about these short looping videos that just go on. I mean, they're a live set, but the actual image is either a static image or it loops. And say like you put a timeline down, a countdown clock down. Or have you guys seen those ones where it's the poll where it says, hey, give a thumbs up for yes and give a heart like for for a no or something like this, and they do the little polls across. Well, Facebook is putting an end to that. So if you guys are live streaming anything like that, you're probably gonna, maybe not right now, but very soon, you're gonna start noticing that, well, guess what? You're probably gonna, they're either gonna decrease your organic reach, or they're actually gonna penalize you and possibly even shut your channel down, if not your actual live stream. So having said that, I actually think it's kind of a cool thing. I'm really glad to see that. So anyway, for as far as that goes, guys, I wanted to kind of sum this up today, just kind of briefly, because we do have a guest, and today we're going to be talking about, can you guess the title? Here, I'll pull it up. Can you guess the title here? We have a special guest, Holly Hoadley. We're going to be talking about building strategic partnerships. And I think it's a really important thing. It's something we've actually talked about before, but maybe not necessarily in these direct terms. It's something we know about, but we don't always take into real account of things. And so what I wanted to do, I just want to bring on Holly. I'm going to let her introduce, by the way, Holly, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, because I find the guests typically do a much better job because they know so much more about themselves. But I will say this, I met Holly probably about a year and a half ago now, through this wonderful platform called Blab. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of this before. It doesn't really matter because it's dead already. But I think the real point really is that, no, I love being able to get to know and be able to see and get to know a lot of the people. And these are one of the people I'd love to connect with, even though she's in Toronto, Canada. How about that? Well, Holly, let me bring you on. I'll just introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, we have known each other for, it's been almost 2 years, year and a half now. And I'm sad that Blab's gone. Just saying. Hashtag just saying. So yes, I'm Holly Hoadley, and most people yodel my name, and feel free to do that now if you'd like. So I own a company called Creative Solutions, And we do three parts. So we have a business advising and solution department. So we do on-demand business coaching, and that covers everything from operations to finance to looking for different revenue streams. Pretty awesome. If you just get stuck with way too many tasks, we're that person to call and help you out. So we have another division, which we do social media management and training. And we also do workshops for not-for-profits and for entrepreneurship organizations. And we also have a division that does services. So we do everything from websites to user experience, graphic design, content development. So that's Creative Solutions in a nutshell. And I founded the company about 3 years ago. It's going on 3 years in July.
Nice. I like that. I've watched, you guys just did an update on your website, and we won't get into all the details except for the fact that I like what's up now. And if I was really cued in, I would put the website in like right now. So this is your first chance. What's the new website? Is it a new? It's just a new design. It's not a new address, is it?
It's a new address, new design. So it's needcs.com. So basically, Need Creative Solutions.
Gotcha.
.com. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So before we really get into all of this, I'm just going to ask you, what was your first like marketing business? Not the job at, like the local grocery store where you're like, this is like your first job out, but what was your first job like in the industry that helped you get going?
Oh, that's a good question. I think what happened, well, I always end up going into companies as like a regular like manager or something. I've done restaurant, retail, worked for wholesalers. I kind of just walk in and go, I don't know what I can do. You try and tell me what I can do. And we end up figuring it out together. So I end up really moving up the ladder pretty quickly because I'm kind of a perfectionist and a workaholic, and end up really moving up companies and realize that marketing is really what I freaking love to do a lot. I don't love to do sales, which is kind of weird because I feel like they go hand in hand. So I think the very first quote unquote sales job was selling vacuums door to door.
Wow.
Which made me realize I don't love selling.
You don't love the cold calls? You don't love the... Well,
No.
Sometimes vacuum sales is not so much like cold call. They know you're coming. But you get my point. No, I know exactly what you mean, and I've been there. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's when you have to do that it kind of makes you appreciate. I mean, you're gonna find out which kind of a person you are. Are you that kind of a person, or are you the other kind of just like, I can't handle this, and I will never do this again for as long as I live? I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's funny because like I love being in the spotlight, but I also don't love being in the spotlight. It's kind of bizarre. I don't love going out and looking for those opportunities and going to networking events, but when I'm there, I tend to gather a group around and we all just start joking and having fun. It's just building those friendships, right? Which leads into what we're going to talk about.
I do find it's actually quite interesting. That's the first job, because that's actually a really good point that you bring up as far as like with that first job and where this kind of leads you. Because that and we'll kind of get right into our topic today, which is building strategic partnerships, and I think it to be really clear, and let's just start off so that we're on the same foot. How do you define strategic partnerships?
To me, it's someone that you can pair up with to match a specific goal. So it's a mutual relationship based on one goal. So whether the goal is trying to get more followers on your Instagram account, whether the goal is to sell more of your item or your service, somewhere where you can help each other grow your businesses. That's how I see it.
Well, here's the thing, right? When we start to get into really trying to define a relationship, now interpersonally, I think it's one thing because people are dynamic and things. But when we're talking about a business partnership, Do you think in terms of what benefits me may or may not benefit you? Is that how is that really some way that you would where if it can be one-sided, is that really a partnership, or does it have to be win-win so that everybody wins? Is that, I mean, how what are your thoughts on that?
I really believe it has to be win-win, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you go in with the intention of becoming some sort of strategic partnership, like I said, if it's growing your Twitter follower or your Instagram or trying to get sales for each other, it's got to be mutual. Otherwise, it's not a partnership. It's very one-sided.
Mm.
So if you go in with the intention that this is going to be awesome and Jonathan and I are going to share Twitter or tweets and we're going to go crazy and every day we're going to go check each other's tweets out and share them because we want to help each other's grow each other's businesses. But yet, maybe I'm not pulling my weight and maybe
Mm.
you're just tweeting for me all the time. And I'm like, thanks, Jonathan. You're awesome. And you're like, Holly, you're stupid. I hate this. I hate this partnership. Not the way to build a really good, strong relationship.
Right.
It's better to build it if you're both mutually involved into the agreement.
No, that's really I like that part because I mean there's a number of people and I'm big community. I think there's so much more to be gained through community efforts and that's and I guess in some ways that's like the intro to partnerships as I've always tried to it's a place that you can and I've over the year or now I guess maybe closer to it'll be 2 years probably by the end of the this year maybe man where's the time gone but that we've really been growing live talk nation things like that there's some other communities but people it's a chance that I know for a fact that people have come together they've met in there now they're doing whether they've started businesses podcasts live shows they support each other I mean there's just such a variety of things that has happened and that's what I really like about a community side now when it gets to that next step that business partnership so we know what that is and I think it's more of a case we know it when we see it and but for those that are trying to think a little bit more strategically or maybe in a few steps how is it that you find those how do you find those kind of business partnerships that really help you grow how do you do that.
I always look for someone that is either well connected, someone that has a great community, someone that has or is involved in the community. So not only just has a great community, but actually is involved and does their due diligence to do the social part of social media. So the majority of the time I find people on social media. Now there are some times where I'd find people in let's say networking events or just Googling places. If you're a personal trainer, for instance, and you're looking for strategic partnerships, who do you think you could sort of, target to see if they'd be interested as a strategic partner? I would think you can target nutritionists, you can target apparel companies that create workout clothing, anything to do with who they have as an audience that is similar to your audience. So I find
Mm.
people on social media a lot, and you sort of just approach them in a way. You look at what they've done, you look at who they have in their network, you literally just send them a message. Hey, what's up? I see you're awesome. You think I might be awesome too? You want to check it out? Maybe we can start sharing each other's information. And
Cool.
that's sort of how I started, and then we build from there. You have to nurture the relationship in order to really build a strong one.
Well, that really makes sense. I mean, it's meant to be where you do discover. And so, what's your and I've always I'm trying to make sure that we get a little bit of dig in your brain in terms of like what are the tools that we can use or what are some things like this. But what's your favorite social platform to try to connect what for you and I know it's not that way for me it's Instagram I love Instagram I find a lot of connection but I don't keep them there but for you what's your favorite social platform.
By far, Twitter, 100%. We have, I think, over 12,000 Twitter followers right now and building from there. But we have the opportunity to create Twitter lists. And Twitter lists for me are where it's at. So once you can create a Twitter list, I usually what I do is I create Twitter lists for my competition and I hide it. So it's a private Twitter list. So that way they can't see that they've been added to a list and I don't have to follow them necessarily. So now you've basically aggregated all of your competitors into one list that has its own timeline. So I do the same with yeah, it's pretty friggin' awesome. I love Twitter and Twitter lists.
Isn't that a
Obsessed.
little, is that a little too sneaky, or is that kind of like right on sneaky? What do you
It's
think?
just really smart. Yeah,
It's
that's what
just
it is.
really
Yeah.
smart. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Why not be sneaky when it comes to your competitors? Just you wanna check them out. You want to see what they're doing right and what they're doing
Well,
wrong,
I
and you
mean, I don't
wanna.
think it's. I mean, it's. This is literally. This is just a virtual thing of when, when there was like business cards and Rolodexes. I don't know if you remember. I
I
remember
do.
this where you get you'd have that little clip and you'd be able to punch out the bottom and you could put the business card right into the Rolodex. And it was really awesome, except for when people would put their phone number way at the bottom, you'd clip it and you'd lose half the phone number. That was really awful. Um, but no, this is the same thing because nobody knows who's in your Rolodex, and I think Twitter is just at least, LinkedIn actually does the same thing where you don't have, it doesn't show everybody if you set your privacy settings. It doesn't show everybody that you're looking at, or that it just says, hey, your profile's been viewed. And I think it's very much the same thing because when we go out and we're trying to connect with people, look, sometimes we just need the time to go out and look. And I just, so I like how you use Twitter, those Twitter lists. I use Instagram for that. I really, I don't know, does anybody, and I'm going to look over in the comments too, but does anybody use LinkedIn that's watching this show? I like what LinkedIn's doing. I think they've got some things going on, but does anybody use LinkedIn? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I do use LinkedIn to connect with people on a business level for
Mhm.
sure. But when it comes to sharing information, I feel like, so for instance, this morning, I'll give you a great example. This morning, I opened up Twitter because that's what I do, lying in bed, waiting to get ready. I opened Twitter and I'm like, hey, what are my people saying? So we have this group called Crew, and it's like our crew. It's all strategic partners. It's all of us have a mutual, actually, we have very similar businesses, but they're all over the world. So what we do is every single time each one of us writes a blog, we put the blog link, we actually tweet the blog first, and then we take the URL from that particular tweet for that blog, and then we put it into the group direct message. And we say, new blog up, please have a read, give me some feedback, retweet, whatever you can do. And there's what, like 10 to 12 of us in this group that have over, in total, as combined, we have over 1 million followers. It's crazy. So all of
Wow.
us, yeah, we basically just go together, we share each other's information, we're constantly in the loop and talk to each other.
Mhm.
And then I have the group, the list as well. So we have a group direct message and a list that I go in
Mhm.
every day and actually check the timeline of all the people that are my strategic partner on Twitter and retweet, like, talk to them, comment,
Mhm.
and it's a huge benefit. And they do the same for everybody else in the group.
So this isn't just a, hey, I see your stuff, I'm just going to retweet it to help you get more, to get like an organic reach. I mean, that has a time and a place. I mean, I have a couple of people that regularly that regularly tag me in posts, and it's more of just like top of my, hey, John, would you help me share this out? And I love to. I have no problem doing that for like 90% of people that tag me and stuff. And we talked about that last show. So if you want to know about my stance on that, go to episode 19. Okay, but anyway, moving on because we need to stay in the happy place here, right? No, I think that's when we do this. So what you're doing is more than just tagging to retweet,
It's
or just, hey, you're in my list, so that you just kind of scroll down and you just pick a couple of tweets. And I mean, it's more than that. This is actually like, hey, you have got genuine content, and I get to read it and then share some of that select. Oh, that's really nice. I like that.
Yeah,
How
it's
long does
it's
that
the
take you?
strategy. It's only like 4 minutes a day tops to do
Get
that.
out.
I go in a couple times a day and share each other's content nonstop. Like we really do have a great group that we've acquired over some time, and we've kicked some people out of the group. We've gained some more people in the group. If we feel that someone's a huge asset to the group, maybe they have lots of followers, or maybe they just have the same sort of mentality of, you know, getting each other's
Got you.
profiles up.
No, I totally get it. I've been in blogging groups like that. The new one is now Instagram. They call them Instagram pods, because Instagram is completely screwing around with the search algorithm. I mean, with the reach algorithms. We don't like we even those that say they know what they're doing. No, they don't know. Nobody's cracked this code because they've changed it. And it's so weird. It's so off. I've literally seen, and it's not hashtag based exclusively. I mean, there's so many things about it, but they have Instagram pods, and that kind of reminds me of that, where it's like this. It's in a group. I can go in, I can share, I can like. Now, if Instagram would get into this like reshare thing, I think the platform would be totally different. But for now, Twitter, Twitter, just keep the share to yourself, just the reshare. So cool. So you like Twitter. That's one of the things. And that's a way to keep organized. How do you identify that partnership? How do you identify that? As opposed to like just doing like a search and just being like, oh, I like this person, this person, this person, this person. How do you identify that?
If it's Twitter again, so there's two scenarios. One is online, as one is offline. Online, if it's Twitter, because I do use Twitter a lot for this, I will go in and just check everybody that follows us. And we get about 100 followers a day right now because we're really pushing. I go in, I check it out, I see who's following us, I see how involved they are and how often that they're posting, and if they're reposting a lot of people's content. You look at the amount of followers that they have, their engagement, how many people they're following, how many lists they have going on at this time as well, and see if they really know their stuff in Twitter. So once I decide, maybe this is a person that we should connect with and see if there's any mutual benefit to do this, I'll start to share their information and then to send them a direct message once they followed me and say, I love your content. What do you think about actually us resharing each other's content all the time? Once we build that level of trust or responsibility and partnership, I can go even further to say, you know what, you sell SEO. I don't. I'd love to be able to tell my clients about you, but not necessarily through my business. So if my clients need SEO, can I actually give them your information? And they'll be like, holy crap, of course you can do that, because that's what people want. They want business. And so we'll just chat back and forth. Do you want a percentage, a referral? Like, how do you want to do this? Which they'd ask me. And I'll say to them, if you sell any of our services, we'll also give you a referral fee, or we can just constantly use each other as white label, or we can use each other as a referral in order to get more business for each other. So I have about 55 strategic companies that I work with that we either share each other's information, or we share each other's resources, as well as refer each other business.
And I like that, and that's kind of taking a lot of like offline strategies and putting them into online. And because you're trying to connect. I mean, to be honest, like Holly, if it wasn't for Blab, or if it wasn't even just for social in general, I never would have met you, or because our circles just don't connect that way, mainly because of geography. I mean, you're up in Toronto, right? You're outside of Toronto.
Yeah.
You actually, yeah. So yeah, I don't go to Toronto. Like, it's not a bad place. I just don't go there. It's just not on my list. I'm sorry. I'm sure that Lynchburg is not on your list. I never thought Lynchburg would actually be on my list, but apparently it is. So, no, but I like how you're taking those, the offline strategies and putting them to online strategies, because I think that's really where we find that the connecting happens, because it really is with people behaving like people. I mean, it's not that complicated to be able to talk with somebody. I mean, sure that yes, there's an art. But that's when you start to refine it, and you start to, get a little bit more, a little bit more in touch with people. But taking that skill that you have from off, in the real world, and being able just to put it into the social media side, I mean, that really gets back into the, like, hey, social media is about real people. It's not just about bots and automating and auto pushing. It has a time and a place, but not when it comes to actually, hey, Holly, how are you? I love what you're doing in your business. I really actually, and by the way, I really do actually, I like the new website update because I remember the old one and I like the new one. It's nice, the video background, but the layout works. I like it.
Well, it's because we did UX actually. We did user experience. We did a whole entire exercise for it. We found out who our personas were and who we actually want to sell to and what they require in a website. So you sound like you might be the ideal client because it actually it attracts the ideal client and actually repels the non-ideal client. That's the point of the site. The way that it's laid out, all the wording that's on it so far. There's still some work to do. We have to put some services in there and some call to actions and things, but the homepage is what we put a lot of the effort in for UX.
No, and I'm going to say like this, and I do mean this very sincerely because I've been there a couple of times, just trying to see how your company's grown the last say year and a half or so. But all the different things. But I really do like it. I like the layout. To me, I like the color. I like softer colors. I know some people are like they just want bold, like slap you in the face, like bright. I don't. I that's just it's my personality. Maybe it's maybe because like my coffee's that's my wake up stuff. I don't need a website to do that. But anyway, so we've talked about what is a strategic partnership. How to find them and some tools, ways tools to find them, ways to organize them. And I want to throw this back to you. What else about strategic partnerships? Is there some factor that we need to consider when picking them or choosing them or maintaining them? Help us out. What's that next step?
So after you've chosen them, you guys come up with an agreement. You're like, yeah, this is going to work out great. And it's continuing. And you're like, this is really great. Normally what I do is I usually say something really inappropriate to make sure that they're my people. Because I'm a very inappropriate person. So the people that I attract to me typically have crooked brains as well, which is amazing. So
I don't really know how I feel about that one because I don't think of myself that way, but I feel like I've connected with you once or twice or, in a pretty good way. So really like that, you throw out the, I don't know if that's a pattern interrupt, but you throw that out there. Does that work?
So the level of inappropriateness may vary. So even the fact where if I said, dude, how's it going? The majority of business owners may not come out and say, dude, how's it going? Or you're freaking awesome. Like that kind of stuff is what I'm all about. That's my personality. So I want to make sure the tribe that I attract are similar to that personality. So it's a level of professionalism, appropriateness, non-appropriateness, inappropriateness. And so, yeah, I kind of just throw it out there. I'll send gifts to people, not gifts, but just GIFs, just like of a monkey dancing or like a walrus high-fiving, or I think I have an animal theme, I think. But anyways, old ladies dancing, just something where it causes a little bit of a giggle. And if they respond well, then I know they're my people. We are going to have a very long-lasting relationship. This is going to be awesome. We're constantly going to be talking like this to each other. And then you build a friendship from there. So it's not necessarily just about business. It's about you're both in business, but now how can we make each other better? So a strategic partnership could be, us helping each other just grow as people, or helping each other grow our businesses in a way that, the coaching can come into play. Like if you and I had a relationship, let's say, and I needed help with a podcast or a live stream or a video intro or any of those things, you could also come back and say, I'll do it for you, but I need something from you in return. What can you offer me? And I'll be like, oh, what do you need? And I'll be so excited to figure this out. And like, it's almost like a barter deal, right? Yeah, I guess like the strategic partnerships equals bartering in a way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you really want to nurture those relationships and keep on top of them and make sure you're constantly in touch with those people, because you don't want to lose them once you've gained them, for sure.
Gotcha. And that kind of stuff, that makes total sense. Again, it's you it really is about connecting real people rather than just okay, you fit this certain criteria. Okay, I've evaluated your business, your opportunity, all those kinds of things. Like it's actually gotten to a better place. And now, a better place in terms of like along in your sales funnel. That okay, they meet the certain criteria. So now I'm going to make enough time to talk with you to see if you can progress more. I mean, that's okay. I think on the one side, like with a business where you need to identify, like, can I actually afford, can I actually make that connection? Is it worth? But what we're actually talking about is like, when is that intro process? How do I get to know them? Like, is this really, are we actually, I mean, you did it in your website and it's a very passive way in terms of like your colors, the layout, the wording. But when we talk about strategic partners, it's how, Holly, can I help you? And then, saying, Jonathan, how can I help you? And then moving forward. So I kind of like a lot of that. I like a lot of that. I love the fact that I was just reading one of the comments and I pulled it up. That's why I was looking off to the side. It says, Holly, I love that you're inappropriate. Keep it real.
Please tell me that's Elma.
No, I think it's, yeah, it's yeah. And I feel, yeah, I got to pin it. So I had to pin it for the show. So keep it real. No, I think that's a lot to be said for those kinds of things. So, what was, is there, okay, so I know we've talked about those things and, kind of quick, make sure we do a little bit of a show wrap up, things like this. I know we've been going for a little bit, but I wanted to make sure that we had some time together just to really get some ideas out there. But I know that I asked you this and I would rather have you say it, but what is the way that people that you would like them to connect with you, and is there some way that what's the best way to be able to do that?
So, I mean, LinkedIn is always a great place to connect for sure. And Twitter, because obsessed with Twitter, CSC headquarters, Besides that, the website, email, all that, needcs.com. You can check that website out. But Twitter and LinkedIn would be great.
I can handle that. So, and I was trying to pull this up. I have a call to action that you gave me. I'm gonna, well, you hinted at it. I think I'm gonna change it up a little bit, and hopefully you won't be too mad at me. No, but what I would like everybody to do, if you have not already, either follow her on one of the platforms, whether it's the platform of your choice. Right, but no matter what, if you're actually watching this on Facebook, or if you're watching this, or from a tweet or something, that's connect on there. But what I'd like you to do is to be able to go over to needscs.com, and I would like you to connect with Holly. Give her a call to book a 1-hour on-demand coaching session. Okay, and this is why is this really important? I mean, I think there's a few things that are why it's really important. I think it's one, because she does know what she's talking about. She is able to help with your business growth, finding an alternative revenue stream within your existing business, or being able to find it outside of some as a potential. Also, I love how she puts this to stop the money bleed. And we all know what that is when we're talking as far as businesses. And really, honestly, just to help with anything to do with social media. I know that's a concern a lot of people have, and they don't know that they don't know. But I want to give everybody and encourage everybody watching this, please reach out to Holly, at least even connect with her. She's really an awesome person. I know I've benefited from knowing her over the years now. I can actually say that, years.
Yeah.
But with that, Holly, I got to say thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I do a lot less guests right now, but thank you for being a guest on the show. I really appreciated it.
Well, thank you for having me as a guest. I didn't realize you were doing less guests, so that's amazing. Appreciate that.
I've done 2 in 2017. Because
Right,
I do
yeah.
less shows. I do 1 show a week and things like this. So we do this, but I was really, when we chatted, I was really excited. I was really pleased. I was like, yeah, this would be a really good idea. Let's get back together. Let's do Let's do another show. This would be fun. So, having said that, let me do this. Guys, thank you again so much for everything that you are doing as a community. I want to give a shout out to our community managers, at least top of the mind, Terry Johnson. I got to say thank you for everything you're doing. Keep it up. If you guys haven't already, connect with her either in the Live Talk Nation group or on Twitter at WebGirlTJ. It's a really great way. We are adding on a good handful of other, they call them moderators, but I actually think them more as like partners within the group, and I'm going to be putting out a post for that. And by the way, guys, if you have not already joined Live Talk Nation, please do that. Go over to Facebook. It's a closed group, and that's just to keep the spammers out, because I would rather have less people in there with better engagement than just having a great big huge group of, say, several thousand people, most of which we never connect with. It's not really the purpose or the point of the group. Also, guys, I would like to encourage you, please, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. You can go over and you can actually watch the show again over at jonathantripp.live. We give news and updates and things like that. And I would really encourage you, hey, why don't you go check it out? It's actually kind of cool. There's a lot to be said for when you're growing a community and when you're being a part of something. But guys, I'm going to tell you right now from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate everybody. The way that you're participating, the way you're sharing content, and things like that. So guys, keep it up. If you have any ideas, reach out to me. I am sorry, I've been really lax on getting back to people this week, but that's really my issue and not yours. But with that, I want to send you guys out on this note. Guys, take care. Maybe I think keep watching. I'm gonna see if I can post the post the after show, and it might actually just be a link to the Zoom room today. I don't know, we'll see. But guys, check this out. This is my big thank you to you guys.